the Bad Company gray, the official Bad Company gray. It's not the Imran or the International or the All Grip gray that we use. That's the true Bad Company gray right there coming through. It's a captain gray. Didn't have that before I was captain, that's for sure. Hey, this is Dan, captain of Bad Company Support 150 and soon to be 175 as well. And I'm in Antalya, Turkey, at Damen shipyard here, just for a progress visit on the new boat, the 175. 150 is in Madeira, and I'm boosting back there tomorrow, and then we'll head over to the Azores probably Monday, because she's really taking shape now. So more than just cut files and pieces of alley laying on the floor. So there's two different launches. There's a technical launch, and then there's a delivery launch. Delivery launch should be in July. Technical launch is in like 6 months from now. So it's unbelievable how fast they crush these things out, both engineering and actual production. So they've only got I think 19 months to build this boat, and most boats would be 36 months. Everything is completed except for the helicopter hangar. As far as actually being built, they've got one section to join, the aftmost section to join, but that's being moved as we speak. That thing's done. So yeah, she's a boat. Damen's a Dutch company, but this is where they build the yacht supports. So which are 5301, the one we're building, and 4508, the one we already own. This is where they build them, and they also build the Sea Explorer lines here. Yeah, there she is, man. Looking like a boat. So it's only 25 feet longer, but it's a tremendous more amount of volume, and that's really the way to measure boats, not length or anything like that. The volume is internal volume and expressed in tonnage, and that's taken into account the draft, the how tall she is, how wide she is, how long she is. So the BCS150 is like 309 gross tons. This thing's 499. So and that's 499, not including the hangar and all that kind of stuff, which just different ways to get around staying under 500 gross tons. It's a bit of a pain when you get above 500 just with regulations. And that's why we'll build the hangar in such a way that it's not considered part of its tonnage. But yeah, she's like, 40% bigger, even though it's only 25 feet longer. It's going to be extremely luxurious. It's not just a 175-foot version of the 150. It's a brand new generation. That's a complete different hull design. 5301. It's a 53 meter, which is 175 feet. Yeah, so she's 5301. And normally you could be scared getting the first of the series from certain yards, but not Damen. These guys are crushing it. They take everything. They take feedback from all their other 15 or 20 yacht supports out there, and including me and on Umbra, including me on BCS 150, and so many things are just taken care of. You don't even have to address it. Oh, hey, 5 years ago on this other boat, I didn't like this about it. They're like, yep, no, we know. We already fixed that. Don't worry. It's great. That's the anchor pocket there on the port side, and that's a striker plate, all that stainless you see. There's a lot of additional stiffeners that are on there that once the boat's completely whole, they'll cut them flush. Honestly, it really hits home when you're touring the boat and just seeing every square inch, every square millimeter of that boat has got a weld and grinded down and polished somewhere. Yeah, it's a painstaking process, but it's a very cool process as well. And all this stuff will get cleaned up. Obviously, those are some burn marks from welding. It's a 10-foot draft. Air height, I'm not sure on yet. So yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know what'll be taller, her mast or the Release's outriggers or the Release's tower. To be honest with you, on the 150 and the LNH, the outriggers and the 150's antenna whips are about the same height. And so that's what will determine our air draft for going under bridges and things like that. Not that we'll be doing that too often. I don't think we're going to many places with bridges. So that's the current stern, but you'll see later on that addition or that module is already done, and they were literally moving it around today. And that's just everything. They've got everything purchased on site. They've got everything fabricated. It's just got to go in piece by piece. So those are the stabilizer fins against the wall, big old 0-speed quantums. And then that's a bunch of plumbing already put together, already painted and all that kind of stuff. You can tell these guys are not just some fly by night, one-off yacht yard. These guys build commercial ships, and it shows in their management. You'll see some photos later, some close-ups later, like all those pieces of aluminum there. Yeah, there you go, just cut and already set up for how they're going to be cut and get as much usable product out of each sheet and things like that. It's pretty cool to see, pretty impressive. The Sea Explorers that are built here at the same place in Antalya are badass. They're bitchin' little yachts, and I shouldn't say little. They're all quite large. 58 meters, the smallest. But and then they also own Amos, which is a very well regarded pedigree Northern European yard. So now that they do it all from the yacht support to the 80 plus meter white boats. But then they also build a bunch of, Coast Guard boats and military boats and all kinds of commercial things. Like all that stuff, that'll be removed. That's just put up there for when they do join it. And then once the boat's whole and has enough rigidity and strength and all that kind of stuff, then I presume they'll get rid of all of that. That's the coolest thing about welding. Like they need to lift something, they just weld a pad eye on it and lift it, and then cut the pad eye off later. It's really cool. Those are all windows. They'll take off those pieces above and below them. That's the bow thruster, massive thruster, just a single one, but a really big one. Yeah, anchor pocket again, and all the striker plates, really beefy, big striker plates, so that when the anchor comes around the bow, it's not ripping everything up. And then the two upper ones are actually like spray rails. So surprisingly, they're quite small, and they've put them on their other boats as well on our 150, and they're surprisingly effective. A little bit of Carolina flair, if you will. It flattens the wave out, and it knocks it back down or to the side instead of coming up over the bow. Gotcha. If there's any wind on it. There she is. That's the axe bow on her. So the whole idea with that is, the ocean is going to do what it wants to you. There's no way around that. But this boat, instead of pounding, it slices through it. So you might move just as much or perhaps even more up and down in a seaway, but it doesn't slam on the way down or suck on the way up. So it's just it's a lot less fatigue on the crew, because these axe bows were originally for the North Sea, some rough parts of the world up there, and yeah, they were meant for commercial boats, so oil rig tenders and things like that. So yeah, it's meant for slicing and dicing through some nastiness and not beating the crew or the guests up too much or the boat. That's what makes it so efficient and so fast and so economical, fuel wise. That's why I can run around at 16 knots everywhere on the 150. I'll be able to run faster than that on this thing, just through a longer water line. We'll find out on sea trials. She's got the same motors as the Trinity 144 Bad Company MTU 4000 series. So that boat does 25 knots plus. So yeah, we'll see. The beam is 30, so it's only 3 feet bigger than the 144 or the BCS 150. They share the same 27-foot beam. So again, just a Same draft, at least same extreme draft. This boat will carry her draft a lot further aft. A little less aggressive of an axe on this one, and that on the 150 it's a full meter deeper, full 3 feet deeper on the bow. Here it's not quite so aggressive there, but yeah, so same draft, 10-foot draft, 3 feet more a beam and 25 feet more a length, but about a 40% larger internal volume. Can't even get her all in one shot. So that's the crane will go just behind that staircase. The crane's still in Italy, being built. Well, it's built now, and that'll be a crew entrance, which will be contained inside the envelope or footprint of the crane base there. So that's heading from the main deck, like where we will have the game boats, the 43 release and 32 blackfin and helicopter hangar and all that stuff will be on that main deck, and then we'll walk down there into the crew area. But again, where you see that red hose is going to be where they house both the crane and some makeup air for the air conditioning. That's a soft hatch, so that will always exist, which is great future proofing. So it's a portion of the deck that you can remove to get really big machinery in and out. So we've got one of those on the 150 as well. That's it right there. So that's the hatch that's been cut out, and that's laying down on the floor there. I can't quite remember how big it is, but it's a lot bigger than it looks in that photo, that's for sure. That's the same photo, just from up top, from a little bit more elevation there. That's the zero speed fins all wrapped up in gray against the wall. Very clean yard as well. They work very cleanly, very efficiently, very smartly. That's the engine room. So that's looking through the soft hatch again from the main deck, and that's down into the engine room. So the motors, the MTUs are on site, generators are on site. Everything's here. We're not worried about supply chain. It's all here. It's just got to be installed still. So that's main deck looking forward. That's the bridge with the bridge overhang. And then that's looking into the guest accommodations. You'll see in some later photos the perimeter of where the house will be, and then you'll see later the actual house that needs to be added still. So you're basically underneath that staircase is Anthony's master. Yeah, things next level as far as guest accommodation goes. 10 guests and 5 cabins. It's going to be beautiful. Just completely customized and designed to be luxurious and yachty. So while the 150 certainly is as well, size-wise, this is where the 175 shines. So those are stairs going up to the bridge, the navigation bridge, which has a guest lounge behind it as well. I'm standing in Anthony's master looking forward at the rest of the guest accommodations. In the middle will be a central walkway corridor. This port side here will be Anthony's master, and then just forward of him there will be another cabin, and then another 3 on the starboard side there. That's the emergency escape hatch. So that'll be one of the ways that the crew, there has to be 2 ways to get out of everywhere. So that'll be where the crew can come up from the crew area via ladder, dedicated space into the guest accommodations, and then use an escape hatch from there as well in the event of fire or flooding or something like that. 10 crew as well. 10 guests and 10 crew. Yeah, there's 7 crew on the 150, and again that 7 and that 10 doesn't include helicopter pilot, helicopter mechanic, or any of the fishing team like Steve, Kevin, Obi. So this is the crew area here. So this will be the crew mess and the galley. That's the bow there, the foredeck. You can see another escape hatch, and then you'll see the anchor locker as well. And then this will be some guest seating, and that's the bridge. We're standing on the bow, looking back at the navigation bridge there. But yeah, there'll be storage and seating and some guest areas and all kinds of stuff like that you can't see just yet. That's the wing station. So that'll be where I dock from. So there's protrusion on both sides on the bridge deck, both port and starboard, and it's just the idea is that it gives you a clean line of sight, a clear line of sight from the bow to the stern when you're docking. The 177 Damen that I worked on years ago did not have wing stations. You had to drive off of cameras and a little TV. So that's the bridge, inside the navigation bridge, and where I'm standing or took the photo from is the upper guest lounge. So it's got a really nice swanky guest lounge in the back and then nav bridge up forward, which is also gonna be quite swanky. This is back down to the main deck, and where you see that red hose going over that kind of perimeter metal there framing, that's going to be the footprint of the house. So that's where the house will start on this main deck level. That's where the lower guest lounge will be, and then where you start to see some structure again, that's inside in the guest accommodations. So heaps of internal guest areas as well as external soon. This is up here in the bow. That'll be the bow thruster that we're looking at on the bottom, and just a technical space. And just forward of that will be the anchor lockers. So that's from the below deck level. That's as far forward as you can get. Yep, that's the thruster right there. It's the big dog. She'll be able to spin with the best of them. She'll be able to spin on some marlin as well. So this is the cold store and freezer store. Obviously not built out yet, but just massive walk-in frozen freezer basically, and a massive walk-in refrigerator of probably 3 times the size of the 150s, which is substantial already. Same thing, that's just the walk-in fridge and freezer room. Yep, same thing. Now we're in the crew mess. So one side's the crew mess and the other side's the galley. So that's the crew mess and galley. Yep. That's priming. It's just different primers. So this is all steel here, no aluminum yet. That's the superstructure will be aluminum. So this is getting into the crew accommodations, and obviously no walls or anything up yet. It's just one big room, but this is where the 6 crew cabins will be. So 6 crew cabins, 5 guest cabins. Yeah. So myself and the chief engineer, we each have their own cabin, and then there will be 4 more cabins with 2 per. So that's the same area. That's the crew area, the crew accommodations. Got some windows now. Pretty excited. Well, I've got a window on the 150, but the lower ones do not. So yep, just all nice things coming along. That's the stairs from the crew area up to the main deck. That'll be right next to the crane and contained within the crane base itself. Oh, that's the laundry. That's inside the laundry there. All those hangers are for insulation. Now that's inside the engine room. Engine room as well. Plumbing laid out, but machinery not yet installed. So we'll have 2 big cat generators in there and 2 big MTU mains. Yep, that's outside, and again, that's the footprint or envelope of the house. Those are bulwarks for the main deck, so those will be the walls, if you will, on the main deck. One of which includes the frame for the escape hatch from the engine room. So that's the last portion. That's the stern portion that's getting moved around and joined this week. So that'll be the beach club. The beach club's just another guest area. It'll have a head back there. There'll be laundry back there, a shower back there. It's just kind of the hangout spot for the swim platform in the stern. Yeah, so that's the swim platform on the far left there, that cut out. Those are 4 underwater lights. So that's the very stern of the boat. And then up top we'll have it's like a 500-gallon gasoline storage. It's going to have hose reels for gasoline, for diesel, for the game boats and the rest of the tenders, jet skis, and you'll see some prop tunnels coming up here, and the end of the keel, I should say. Yeah, that's the prop tunnel there. So they have a recess for the propellers for efficiency and for reduction of draft. Yeah, there she is. Gonna have a big old mackerel tank on the port side of the swim platform there. Just designing that now with the help of Steve and Kevin. Gonna be a 10-scoop mackerel tank, or whatever we want to put in it, but this, predominantly mackerel probably. Yeah, that's just inside the beach club. You can see how kind of comes up on the left side there. That's the propeller tunnel. That's going to be all beautiful wood paneling and stuff like that inside. It's going to be really cool indoor-outdoor space. There you go. That's looking aft out through the hatch. So it'll have the staircase that lifts up like on the 150. Yep, that's her from the outside. It's the port side there. That's really cool. So that's their jig for building the top sides all upside down, and then they'll flip it. But they got to build it on that jig on a flat level there because the decks are cambered, so they wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. But I thought that was pretty impressive. Yeah, so that is what's going to go on top of the house or mate up to the bridge deck level. So the top of that is going to be al fresco deck. So that's going to be just another really great outdoor guest area. So those are, you can see where there's paint and where there's not paint is going to be windows. So those are massive windows for the main deck guest lounge, and then above it will be the main deck, the bridge deck guest al fresco area. There'll be a jacuzzi up there and dining table and couches and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, there's our precision cuts again. It's very cool. Yep. So that's looking into the lower guest lounge. So there you can see the starboard side windows cut out and the door cut out. And this will all be, high-end furnished panorama of the lower guest lounge. It's only got one side of the windows cut out. Same thing, that panorama. so big it takes 2 panoramas, I guess. Yeah, it's being built separately, and that'll be brought over and put on the main deck. All modular construction like that. It's very cool to see the map, if you will, of all the different how they break down all the different pieces of the puzzle, all the jigsaw pieces. So yeah, that's the overhang there, and the stairs going up there go up to the alfresco deck. It'll be behind the bridge and behind the upper guest lounge. Will be the outdoor alfresco deck with the for the dining table and the jacuzzi and some couches and things like that. Yeah, there you go. So that's what I mean. That's just, hey, you need to pick something up. Cool. Weld a couple pad eyes on and smash it out. But so where I am on that level is basically I'm standing where the jacuzzi is, or will be. Yeah, there will be some dining tables and seating and couches and sun awnings and all kinds of stuff, lighting and things like that on this deck here. So it's quite a large deck. So we've got a little one, or a smaller version of this on the on BCS150, where we've got the dining table there. But this one will just engulf that dining table and be a bunch more features up there. It's going to be probably 25 feet across, probably 25 by 25, something like that. And that's just all temporary railings and things like that. It's, again, welding's quick and I wouldn't say easy. I can't do it, but yeah, they'll just instead of having some wood put up there like you see in a lot of yards, they just whack up some aluminum and make safety railings and make a little pad eye here and there and make a ladder and staircase here and there. It's pretty rad. That's a panorama of it, of the alfresco deck. Yep, that's it from below. That's that overhang there. So that'll be mating up to the helicopter hangar for the Red Bell 505. And we're even going to have jet skis and 28-foot ribs sitting on top of it. Yeah, so we'll have the 505 inside, the tug to move the 505 around, a ramp for it, like a bunch of equipment inside the hangar, and it'll be air conditioned. You'll be able to wash the boat inside. It's got positive pressure to keep salt air out, and a workshop in there as well. And then we'll have a fuel skid outside on the main deck, so we can refuel it and lift that fuel skid up and put it in the back of a pickup and drive it somewhere to get some avgas, some aviation fuel, some jet fuel for the turbine. That's that jig again. So that's them actually starting to build Hull 2, 5302. They don't have a buyer for it yet. They're just building it on speculation. But I imagine they're going to get one pretty quick here. Anthony's doing a great job marketing for Damen. That's the bow looking aft. Yep. So this is just some of the offices here in Antalya. So this is I believe that this is the engineering office looking over into the production office. But it just shows you the scale of amount of people working on this boat, and they're not the ones that are out there. They're not the artisans building the boat. These are the guys and girls designing the boat. So yeah, typically I think it was probably at least a full year of engineering, and then it's going to be 19 months of build. So I mean, I'm putting in about probably 50% or close to it of my productivity goes into building this boat. So I get here when I can, and I'll be here a lot more often in the future. as things start to really ramp up. It's just really cool to walk in and everyone's got a picture of your new boat hung up. It's a pretty cool feeling to know you got that kind of support behind you. They call it the GA, the general arrangement. And then I think the next photo is just some sample panels of our Bad Company Gray and Matterhorn White. We had to color match and find our Bad Company Gray here. And we did it in Florida on pieces of wood that we put some fairing on and things like that. But it's not as good of an example as this. So it's actual steel that we're going to use, with the actual primers and, following all the specs for the from the manufacturer, and also done, most importantly, perhaps done on site. So not in some lab somewhere where conditions are, absolutely, glamour. This is real world, what Damen can do in their build shed. And very happy with it. We'll be mailing these to Anthony and myself for approval to sign off. I haven't been here since January, February, something like that. So then it was just a bunch of renderings, and there were a few pieces cut and there were a few pieces welded together, but it was mainly just renderings and promises. So to see it in the flesh now is pretty impressive, and it's not just it's not just a shell. That's the thing. A lot of people go, yeah, that's the easy part. Everyone, you crush out the boat real quick and it looks like it's done, but then it takes another 3 years to fit out. These people here do it all together, all at once. So the inside, the guts are done as the shell is done. So if they're putting it together, it's already got the guts in it. So of course there will be a lot of fine details to do over the next year, and that's why it's going to take another year. But yeah, it's really impressive the progress they've made now, especially considering the times that we're living in. The engineer from the 150 and the former first mate from the 144 will be moving over here in the new year. We left the chief engineer and the first mate on the 144 as a handover and to do that refit that they just finished up. Once that was done, Sol came over. He's the first mate from the 144. He came and did the delivery cross on the 150 from Florida to Madeira, and then he flew home to New Zealand. And he's getting bigger and bigger captain's licenses. So he's in school for the next 6 months. And Ryan's crushing it out, working on the 150 right now. And I'm gonna have to find his replacement and for the 150, and he'll go be the chief engineer on the 175 and help finish the build along with Sol as the new first mate on the 175. Those two will be our boots on the ground, and I'll be coming in and out along with our owner representative and yacht broker Neil and his assistant Aaron, and then we've got another technical advisor Ian, and so between the 6 of us, we'll finish the build in the new year, and then shortly after that, I'll be putting a full crew on her. So it'll be some new faces and it'll be some familiar ones that have worked on the 144 and the 150 with me. But yeah, the stoke level is extremely high. I always wanted to do a new build in my career. I always wanted to be involved in a program like this. And I'm lucky enough that they happened together. They coincided. And so yeah, super stoked. But this is what Anthony and I planned when we first got together. It was build a mothership, and that's what we're doing. Just didn't know that we're gonna buy another one before that. Didn't know that we were gonna run 3 motherships, but we are. It's dreamy, that's for sure.